Hello, this is the Watchdog, and welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today we're going to review the Pagani Design PD-1702 homage to the Longines Hydroconquest. This is my first video in a while. I injured my finger on Thanksgiving Day on a can of cream corn and had to have it stitched up. And when you do videos with your hands, having a bunch of stitches is kind of gross. Let's start out with the wrist check. I'm wearing my Tag Heuer Aqua Racer. I just started a new job and had to go into the office for the first couple of days before I start working from home. So I wanted to wear my best watch. Of course, nobody noticed. And Greg was wearing my G-Shock GD350. Grogu said Princess Leia was upset at Han Solo. She wanted to go out to eat, but he and Chewbacca were busy working on the Millennium Falcon. She said, "You love that rusted bucket of bolts more than me." He said, "Of course I love you more. And not so loud. You'll hurt her feelings." Here's the watch. It came in your typical Pagani Design box with instructions, unsigned warranty card, and cleaning cloth. And here it is. It's a very nice looking watch. After an endless parade of Rolex homages, the Chinese watch companies are starting to pay more attention to the other respected Swiss brands. Longines is part of the Swatch Group, and their watches would be placed above Hamilton and Tissot regarding prestige and price. The Hydroconquest is their dive watch model and was on my short list of potential purchases when I was looking for a Swiss-made dive watch before I decided on my Tag Heuer Aqua Racer. So why buy a Chinese homage of a watch that is actually obtainable? Everything is relative in the watch world, and what may be affordable and attainable to some is still beyond the reach of others. Or there is also a choice. I could afford the Hydroconquest, I could afford the Aqua Racer, but I could not afford both. I made the decision some time ago that Fun with Watches was perfectly fine with homage watches, where the word homage is really a synonym of the word knockoff. This channel is a self-funded hobby of mine and would not be possible without a plethora of very affordable Chinese homage watches. The watch comes in blue, black, or green. I chose the green colorway since I had already reviewed a blue Guanqin of a similar design. The watch is 41.9 millimeters at the bezel, 50.3 millimeters lug to lug with inverted end links, 13.4 millimeters thick, has a 20 millimeter lug width, and weighs 158 grams with 3 links removed. This is a big watch. One of my complaints about the Guanqin I reviewed recently was that it was only 40 millimeters when Longines makes a 43 millimeter version. So at 42 millimeters, this one's bigger, and I prefer it this size. The ceramic bezel is 120 click unidirectional with excellent action. Nice solid clicks without too much resistance and no back play. Many Pagani Design dive style watches have a 90 click bezel, so it's always nice when they make one with 120 clicks. Plus it lines up just nice. The numbers have a font similar to the real watch. There's also a lume pip. I do notice just a little bit of wobble when I press on this side of the bezel. I don't notice the wobble when I press over by the crown, but it's not horrible, just a little bit, just enough to notice. The green dial is flat with no sunburst effect. Pagani Design brand and logo are printed on top. Then it has automatic and the water resistance with 200 meters at the bottom. Most Pagani Design dive style watches only have 100 meters, so it's nice to see true dive watch specs. On the very bottom we have Japan movement, and this is a Miyota 8215, which is showing up more and more in Pagani Design watches due to the NH35 shortage. The luminances are applied with short rectangles at the 3, 6, 9, and 12, dots everywhere else. This is a rare exception where the 3 o'clock date does not take up any index space. The lume numbers are also applied. Thankfully there is a 9 like the real watch. I reviewed a Benyar homage recently that left off the 9. Then we have a pencil minute hand and an hour hand with a lume diamond shape. Then there's the Lollipop second hand. The crystal is a flat sapphire. It doesn't say if it has a AR coating, but you can see through it just fine. The sign crown doesn't have the best thread action. It pops okay when unscrewing, but you can really feel the threads when screwing back down, and sometimes it takes a pretty good effort to get the thread started. The solid steel case is polished on the sides and brushed everywhere else. Tops and bottoms are brushed, polished on the side. The crown guards are screwed down and not part of the case. And the lugs have a pretty good curvature to them. The screw down case back is identical to the one that was on the Seamaster homage I reviewed recently, other than the model number. It has a diving helmet. And then when you turn it upside down, to me it looks like a sci-fi robot. Usually Pagani Design uses display case backs, but not on these 200-meter rated watches. Underneath we have a Miyota 8215, which has become Pagani Design's go-to replacement for the increasingly scarce NH35. The 8215 is a 21 joule 3 Hz movement that hand winds but does not hack. It also has a unidirectional rotor which spins freely in the non-winding direction. 8215s have also been known to stutter. All the other 8215s I reviewed on this channel were just fine, but this one, the stutter is exceptionally bad. The stutter becomes noticeable when the watch is held upright and the second hand is in the down sweep. Doesn't matter the position of the watch, it's a gravity thing. Here, see the watch. Look at that stutter. It's some pretty good stutter there. See, look at that. That was huge. The stuttering does not affect accuracy or reliability, but is annoying just the same. I have been defending Pagani Design's use of the 8215 as a reasonable replacement, as hacking is not really that important to me anymore. But I'm starting to rethink that due to this noticeably bad and consistent stutter. The watch has solid inverted end links. The bracelet is a single link meant to look like a 3-link with polished center links. We have push pin adjusters. And then comes my biggest complaint on this watch. We have a fully milled clasp that looks nice, but absolutely no micro adjust. WTF. This is a tool watch and not a dress watch. Plus the links are really big at 0.4 inches, so it is really hard to get a good fit. I am wearing the watch too tight because otherwise it would be flopping around on my wrist. A heavy watch like this needs to have a good fit. A lighter watch is a little bit more forgiving to have one of these fancy dress clasps, but a heavy dive watch needs a clasp with micro adjust. Plus also it's an integrated clasp, so you can't just easily replace it with an adjustable clasp. Here's the watch on my 7.5 inch wrist. It looks nice, but it's too tight. But if I put a link back in, it just flops all over the place. So you really have no choice. If you can't find the perfect fit, you gotta wear it tight. Otherwise, it just goes all over the place because it's a big, heavy watch. Here we are in the loom room. The first time I walked from a lighted room to a darker room, I noticed a pretty good glow. But then when I gave it a closer look, I noticed a major discrepancy. As we speed up the clock, you can see that even though the index loom and the loom pip is pretty good, the number and hand loom fades rather quickly. We can forgive the numbers, but the hands are rather important. It does no good to see the indices if you can't see the hands. What do I like about this watch? Well, they nailed the look of the Hydroconquest. It really looks sharp. It's a nice looking watch. And it's got great bezel action. The clicks are really nice. Not too light, not too stiff. And everything lines up just nice. Plus the bezel looks nice, and it's got the same font as the real watch. I like the fact that it has inverted end links, which helps a big watch like this wear a little bit smaller. And it's nice that it has 200 meters of water resistance when most Pagani designs only have 100. What are my gripes and groans? Well, a stuttering 8215 is very noticeable. And it has lousy hand loom despite pretty good index loom. And the number one complaint, no micro adjust in this integrated clasp. Do I recommend this watch? I'm torn. This is a really nice looking watch with the build quality being quite good. However, the stutter of this 8215 is the worst I've ever seen, which is something I really have to keep in mind the next time I consider a watch with the Miyota. Keep in mind that the watch you purchase may not have this bad of a stutter or a stutter at all. I've had several 8215s with no problem. And if you are okay with the potential stutter, there's the clasp to consider. A big watch like this needs a proper fit. If this watch had an NH35 and an adjustable clasp, I would be shouting on the mountaintop to get this watch, despite the lousy hand loom. So, whether or not you want this watch all depends on, do you like the look of the Hydroconquest? Because it really did nail the look. Well, thank you for watching my review of the Pagani Design PD-1702. And I will be back with another unboxing. I got something from AliExpress that you should be very interested in. Bye.